Speedway Tavern. Speedway Tavern. Speedway Tavern.
Welcome to the Speedway Tavern. Enjoy your stay. Welcome to the Speedway Tavern. What's the news today? Have a drink, have your say. All opinions here today. Welcome to the Speedway Tavern. Enjoy your stay. Weddy, GA, and Matt are here today. Welcome to the Speedway Tavern. Come and have your say.
Good evening, and it's really nice to report. Excuse me, to report some good news for a change, isn't it? It's great to hear that the Edinburgh Monarchs, and by the way, do you think they realise that they're named after a type of butterfly? It's great to realise that they're well on the way to getting a new track. It's good news indeed, and only in Speedway. Well, good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
How are we doing? Sorry about the little cough and splutter in the middle of that.
Oh, no worries.
Yeah, I just realised as I was writing it down, they're named after butterflies.
Yes.
Well, you're just a mine of information here, aren't you?
I don't think they'll be very happy about that.
Not useful information, admittedly.
No,
No.
definitely not useful.
Talking about information, useful or otherwise, we should send our best wishes to Dave Pete, the team manager of Scunthorpe, undergoing surgery for cancer. Hope it all goes well, mate. Get well soon.
Okay.
We should also say get well soon to Dan Bewley, the Miracle Man.
Absolutely. You've only just seen it, haven't you?
I've just seen it.
That's probably why you're still coughing, I think, isn't it? When you were...
Could be.
It was
that was a smash and a
really
half.
horrible crash in the Rosslav-Chestakova match on Friday. Just in the wrong place at the wrong time, really. And
I've seen a speedway bike.
on the track.
On the track,
yeah, absolutely. So,
but, no, it wasn't nice. But apparently, you reckon he's just got bruises?
That's what I've read. Bruises,
Okay.
yeah, just but he didn't race in the European Championship, of course, over the weekend.
Do you know what? I forgot that happened.
Mm-hmm.
So, right, we'll have to have a look at that
We'll
in a
have
bit.
a look at that, yeah. All the stuff here, so.
And it's 14 years, can you believe, since Joe Thurley died? Now, those of you out there who are not of a Birmingham bent, does that mean I'm a bent brummie? Anyway, Joe Thurley was probably our most successful promoter of Birmingham back in the 70s and 80s, and he came back into Speedway when we opened in 2007 as the pit marshal. Had a great time. And he died 14 years ago. That's wow.
Yeah.
Feel old now. I felt old 14 years ago, to be fair, but yeah. Okay, so for those of you new to our little soiree,
Soiree?
yeah, and Chris has now gone to the dictionary to look that up. He thinks it's rude, I think.
Yeah, I'm just
I
having
thought you got to
problems.
serve the drinks or something.
Yeah.
Can people just tell me if they've got any sound? Thank you.
Are we
I'm just
having
not-
sound problems?
I'm just not. No, it's
You
not
do realise-
working, but I'm not getting it on my phone for some reason.
Okay, because you do realise if they can't hear us, they won't have heard what you just said.
No. But if they can hear us, they will have.
Has anybody put any comments on the
There's
stream?
loads of comments, yeah.
Okay, so yeah,
Perfect, they says. So, okay.
perfect.
It's
Okay.
just my phone then. For
It's
some
just
reason.
your voice.
Yeah.
So some of you are already out there putting your comments out, but if you want to do that, please do so, and we will endeavour to get through all of them in the next hour. We don't always succeed, but we always try. And how can they join in?
Okay, so keep a look on Facebook. Search for the UK Speedway Tavern. We're also live every Tuesday on YouTube. Again, search for UK Speedway Tavern. You'll find us there on YouTube. Also from midday on Tuesday, you'll be able to find the edited podcast where we actually sound a hell of a lot better.
We sound professional.
Yeah. From midday onwards.
It's only 10 minutes long.
And I believe from this week you can find us on your Amazon Echo thingy bob as well. So
I'll check that out myself. Now I've got a sort of a bit of a plea to you all out there. Poor Chris, he needs your help.
Okay.
It's not. He's really upset about this.
Right. Okay.
That nobody's phoning. Give them your number, mate.
Okay. Yes. If anybody wants to phone in, it's 0777 911 7082, or you can just send us a message. We'll get back to you.
And he ends every show in tears that nobody's rung him.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be really nice.
I might go outside actually and phone him dead with somebody else.
I might even do that.
Well, and on that note, have we got any comments out there?
Well, my phone's restarted, so I'll get them up on here. If you give me just a couple of minutes, and I'll get
Okay.
them.
Well, shall we go over? Let's have a little chat about this. This is probably going to be a short one, isn't it? Wolverhampton against Ipswich.
Yes, Ipswich strike again. I have to say, fair play to them. It was a very professional performance from the Witches. They never were behind in the meeting. Wolves got level with them a couple of times. I mean, when you look at the score chart, I mean, really, if you look, Jason Dawes scored 11, and Eric Riss really was the match winner, scoring 16 and 1 from reserve. But if you look at the rest of the team, I mean, Troy Baxter scored 7 and 3, didn't ride particularly well, won one heat. Danny King scored 7 and 2 from 5, didn't win a race, had a couple of paid wins, but certainly wasn't at his best. But really, you look at the Wolves scorecard. I mean, 10 last places on your home track. That really does, is quite a damning stat. Mm-hmm. And just the 3 points from reserve, really, that was really where the meeting was lost, to be honest. I mean, Ipswich obviously came to Mon McGreen and won earlier in the season as well, and I sort of sensed that going into last night's meeting that they would certainly fancy the chances of doing so again. Mm-hmm. Sam Masters rode pretty well, considering, of course, I mean, he was in a smash over the weekend, and of course rode one race for Edinburgh the night before, mm-hmm. and had to withdraw. And when I saw him on the parade before the meeting, I mean, he could barely walk, so I was astonished that he rode. But 12 and 2, just dropping a point from his 5 rides, it was a good performance from the Wolves, number one, but just not really the backing there for him, unfortunately.
And how was the track? Track report.
Patchy, I would say. Patchy. It was very, very dry, especially on the third and fourth turn. I mean, to be honest, the Wolves track has been different most weeks, which is I don't think has helped really. The riders really can't sort of get the setups right when the track's completely different from one week to the next. It's becoming a bit of a problem. I think a lot of Wolves have done okay at home. They've had 3 home defeats already this season, which is unthinkable for Wolves. Not
something that you're used to, is it? Can we just go back down to the bottom, because there was something that piqued my interest. And we will get all the... Right, it's further down. It's further down. Hold on. No, keep going.
That's as far as it goes.
Just up a little bit. And again... Okay, this just took my... Because obviously there's been a new signing. Adam Roynan has been replaced by Carl Bickley.
Yep.
And I just love this. This is Bickley, much stronger than Roynan. Great singing.
Oh.
So there you go. Sorry.
That was the criteria for picking a rider, to be honest. But.
Well, there you are. Right, we better start getting through some of these, haven't we?
Because
it's okay. So Elliot Hunt said he's disappointed with the Wolves' performance last night. Too many last places, poor out the gate, Dougie and the reserves struggled to keep us in it for the win.
I don't think I've never seen a Wolves team get as poorly as we did last night. Certainly at home, it was really, really poor. There was only one race really where we. In fairness, there was some good racing last night. I mean, the last heat really to stop Ipswich getting the full points was a cracker. Masters and Luke Becker. Luke Becker, I would say, was the pick of the Wolves riders. I thought he was really rode well last night. It was definitely his best performance of the season. I mean, he started quite slowly, but as the weeks have gone on, he sort of found more of his sparkle. And I think he's raised his game now that he's riding as a heat leader rather than riding in the difficult number 2 position, as we've called it so many times over the years.
Ben Clifton says good evening, as does Duncan Pemberton. Craig Smee has made the note that it's getting interesting in the Premiership. Nobody predicted the mauling that Bellevue dished out last night. Was I the only one that predicted an Ipswich away
I think
win?
you were, Craig. I think you got the score right as well. So
well, okay, we'll come to that soon. Edinburgh new track plus Steve Lawson has done the first speedway laps around the new Workington track at the old North Side track. So that's news to me, but that's
I like what I've seen from what Workington have got. Set a bit lovely setting as well. It's right on the coast. I mean, there's an overhead photograph of the track, and you can see the Cumbrian coast in the background. It looks a really, really nice setting, and we certainly wish them well.
Edinburgh new track, Workington new track, positivity in the speedway world at last, says Duncan Pemberton. Let's hope that we can keep the positivity going. Edinburgh Stadium looks great. Track doesn't seem very big. Would have been better if it was bigger, but we need more clubs with purpose-built facilities. Amen to that. I think that's absolutely key. It's why it was so sad to see Somerset go.
Yeah,
because they were doing great things at that track.
On a track that was theirs as well. So
yeah. Simon Corbett, my mate and second in the prediction league, Steve Morgan, wants to know if you're an Edinburgh fan, you would be peeved with Masters pulling out at Scunthorpe, then riding for Wolves beating Doyle twice.
You might be a little bit. I think I did sort of cross my mind myself that what would the Edinburgh fans probably wouldn't have been overly impressed with that.
And Ben, no, I haven't seen that. I mean, if you can give us a link, that would be great. Ben Clifton says, have you seen the crash at the Bidgosh match?
Yeah, I have seen that.
You have seen it, where the rider's helmet got ripped off, having been hit on the track by another rider in a horror crash. Okay, I haven't seen it. I shall have a look for it, obviously. Workington track looks great, short straights but wide bends, should be a great circuit for racing.
Yeah, I saw Steve Lawson doing a practice lap round there. Certainly doesn't look like he's lost any of his style from when he was riding before.
All right. Sound is good. If you want to carry on down a little bit.
Good.
Good evening, good. Good evening, good all. Says Jim Turrell. Good evening, good all. Win for Riches last night over Wolves. Yes, can hear okay. Apparently I was slightly distorted at the start.
Yeah, you were.
I think that was my
Wasn't it?
Yeah, that was my throat more than anything. Witches were just better, says Jim Turrell.
They deserved to win the match, Ipswich.
Jeff Daniels, having attended AC's Sheffield last Bellevue 1-7 were brilliant. Some fans saying we only won by a big score was because Sheffield were poor. Laughable. We made them look poor, in my opinion. I know nothing is won in July, but to know we have that in their locker, and there is more, but I can't see it.
Oh, sorry.
Hello. There we
go.
I'm
still trying to do things. I'm all right. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Well, can't get the help, can we? We made them poor, and I don't think he's won in July, but to know we have that in our locker is great. Only an engine failure from Frick in Heat 15 when on a 5-1 stopped us getting 60 points.
They're starting to look quite formidable, aren't they, now at the moment, Bellevue?
They are. Bradley Gray, great singing. I'm not sure to who he's referring.
That might have been the comment we saw earlier, I think.
Dan posted on Facebook today he has been released from hospital, a picture of stood up with no crutches, etc., saying all is well. Good news for Dan Bewley.
How he walked away from that.
It's an absolute miracle.
Well, he's young, isn't he?
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of. Some of the Sheffield fans, according to Craig Smee, didn't take defeat too well last night, blaming the track. I go every week, and although the track was very slick, it created racing lines all over the track. Racing was the best all season. The 80s boys didn't always have to gate, but with racing lines on the inside, outside and through the middle, it made for some ruthless and spectacular passing. Well, it's always easy to blame the track. I've done it myself many a time,
Yeah.
so, you know.
Yorkshire people don't like losing in Lancashire, though. I think that's probably the one thing, isn't it? So.
And vice versa, of course. Duncan Pemberton says, let's just say when you go to Workington at any time of the season, wear a big
Yeah, it does
coat.
look like that. It does look like it.
Brian Buck, I've seen this before. It was interesting. Interesting to see that the Ipswich team, which raced at Wolverhampton last night, featured 6 ex-Birmingham riders: Doyle, Barker, Stark, King, Riss and Hume. So you got beaten by Birmingham on taking that.
I was waiting for that. I was waiting for someone to.
Right, shall we have a look at the SEC then?
We can indeed, yes. It was
And keep your comments coming, everybody, please.
Yeah, we will catch up.
Yep, Stacey
Eventually.
Whitney over the weekend in Poland. Win for Leon Madsen. Had a slow start to the meeting. Only scored 1 point in his first 2 races but then reeled off 4 straight wins to win the meeting. Winning the final against Janusz Kolodze, Patrick Dudek and Mikkel Mikkelsen. Adam Ellis, not the best of nights for him, scoring just 2 points from his 5 rides, failed to finish his first one as well. Of course, no Dan Bewley, of course, he was obviously not able to ride in that due to his exploits a few days earlier. Second round in Güstrow in Germany on August the 6th, so it's tight at the top, of course, after the first round. Of course, I'm sure I'm right in saying, of course, the winner of it goes straight into the Grand Prix as well. So there's
I believe so, yeah.
something to go for. Or the highest placed non-GP rider, I think, goes in. Of course, if somebody who's also in the GP wins it as well. So
And you need to start quick. There's only 4 rounds.
that's right, yeah.
You need to be on it from the start. So, yeah, was it a decent meeting?
I didn't watch it, unfortunately. But I've it's a competition that I haven't really got into, to be honest. I mean, you look at the field. I mean, you've got Leon Madsen, you've got Patrick Dudek, Piotr Pawlicki, Kasper Verena, Kai Hubenbeck. You've got some good riders in that. Adam Ellis. You've got some pretty good riders in that field. So, and all of those riders, the vast majority of those riders, I think would certainly be competitive in the GPs. Maybe not to the extent of winning the World Championship, but they just, certainly wouldn't be phased by going to the GPs.
Okay. I'm not sure who that's making that comment. So,
sorry,
there you
Jeff.
go. Yeah, Jeff Daniels. Pete Clark says Ipswich also had rider replacement. I think he's suggesting. I think he's suggesting that that's a Birmingham rider as well, but maybe. I was watching the Ostrolesno on Sunday from Poland, and there was a delay of around 30 minutes, wondering what was going on as all the commentary was in Polish. I later read that it was crowd trouble. The away fans were throwing cans and bottles at the home fans. Can we say a bit more?
They are a bit crazy, aren't they?
Police had to use tear gas to stop it. Unbelievable at Speedway. We wouldn't want to see that.
It makes the polite applause at British Speedway matches.
Yeah, it does really.
It's a bit dull, doesn't it?
But I mean, you look at old videos of Polish Speedway. It's been going on for a hell of a long time, hasn't it? Crowd disturbances and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, we have had it in British Speedway before. I mean, you'll have seen it with some of the Cradley Wolverhampton matches.
That was just the women as well. So.
Cradley, I can imagine.
I'm not joking either.
Yeah, I mean, I've had some experience of interesting goings on.
What's the worst you've seen?
They got the coach, wasn't it, when they were shaking it from side to side?
That was one. But also when I can't remember the name, the guy's name now. So I think he was Australian. Came on the track with a gun.
Gary Middleton.
Gary Middleton. That was it. Yeah. So that was another one. Duncan Pemberton says, like you said, Master Bewley is young. Remember, he broke his leg badly at Workington a few years back, so happy to see that his leg coped with that horrific impact well. So, yeah, keep them coming. We should ask you guys to put, if you've got any comments about any matches that you've been to this week, home or away. Particularly interested in how the tracks are coping with all this dry weather. Given the things that happened at Birmingham last year and seem to be happening at Wolverhampton a little bit this year, it'd be interesting to see how that's all going. Birmingham versus I forgot who we raced. Glasgow. Thank you. I knew it was somewhere up north.
Yeah.
That's the next match. Who was we against last week? Birmingham.
There was no match last Wednesday, was there? Because it would have been Newcastle.
That was it.
We'll get there.
God, I will get there in the end. Do you know, I've had a
so professional. Oh, good job. I'm keeping the show
I'm going
going
to
here.
get my coat in a minute. Birmingham Glasgow is going to be an interesting meeting tomorrow.
Yeah, Birmingham obviously gone into it on the back of a really impressive win against Redcar.
Redcar.
Yep. So it's going to be a tough match for the Brummies. I think there's no doubt about that.
Mm-hmm.
Glasgow. Glasgow. If they want to get into that top two, I think this is a match that they're certainly going to be targeting a win from. They won, of course, at Perry Bar early on last year.
Yes.
And they've, again, strong side, been riding well recently, so they'll fancy their chances. But I think, if Birmingham want to try and muscle their way in and have any chance at all of getting into that top six, then this is going to be a big win, a big win if they can pull it off as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a big match with both sides, for so many different reasons.
It is. You've got to feel that Birmingham, that break last week has probably come at the wrong time.
Possibly a little bit.
But it is where it is. I think the key is going to be, I don't want to put too much pressure on the young lad, but James Pearson getting some points is going to be key.
Well, he had a good night against Redcar, didn't he?
He did.
Paid 7 points.
Paid
It was
7 points.
Best score of the season, I think. Certainly his best score for quite a number of weeks.
Best score at home, I think. I think he did a 7 point away in one meeting, but yeah. So I think that's going to be key. I think also Shane's making a few gates is going to be key. And by that I mean not being half a mile behind into the first
in the first 10 seconds of the race.
Yeah. So it's and Louis. What's interesting is that the lineup has changed now because we've got Josh Hawty at number one, which obviously is going to be always going to be a guest.
Josh Hawty, that's hardly ridden this year. He's now number one.
He's now the number one. Yeah. Klaus Wissing had a much better meeting against Redcar, and maybe moving to probably the number 3 position
will help him.
Help him a bit.
Yeah. I think it was a good team. It was such a good team performance against Redcar, wasn't it?
All the
way from 1 to 7. It's not very often, certainly in Birmingham's case, that the whole team clicks on one night, and
I think
they really did.
Putting Sedgy in at number 5 helped us in Heat 13. So yeah.
Yeah, there is of course a meeting going on tonight in the National League. Currently, it's Plymouth 28, Mildenhall 44 after heat number 12. So Mildenhall on their way to
another one I've got wrong.
Comfortable win down there on the south coast.
There was something about the pairs meeting. Okay, so Elliot Hunt said, looking forward to the next pairs meeting on Thursday at Kings Lynn. I'm going to the meeting with Masters, Morrison, Flint, Rising Star for the Wolves. Always close ones. I haven't actually watched any of the pairs this year.
I haven't watched anything yet, to be honest.
I'll have to check them out.
Obviously the Wolves round is coming up in a couple of weeks, so that'll be probably the first one I'll see. So.
Craig Smith says it happened at the NSS a few seasons ago. We're talking about similar things to Poland when the Wolves were at Bellevue in the playoffs. I'm sure you can remember that. I remember you coming back with some stories. Bellevue fans threw some cans at Freddie Lindgren after he put an Aces rider in the fence. Can't remember who it was he put in the fence. Would you like to make any comments on that?
I don't know whether it was his little clash with Craig Cook. Possibly,
right.
I know the year after Rory Sline had stuff thrown at him because unfortunately, unfortunately for the guy that threw it, Rory saw who it was who threw it.
Right.
And there was a great clip on YouTube of Rory looking up at the crowd, going like that, and saying, pointing towards the car park, saying,
Right.
"You car park," you know. So
Right.
I don't think anything happened. I should just put a disclaimer there. So
Elliot says Birmingham versus Glasgow tomorrow with Lewis Kerr guesting at number 1. Vissing drops to 3 and Sedgman now at 5. Will be a close one. Yes, I think it will be close. Duncan Pemberton had to have a police escort out of Cradley in the 70s. We, Leicester, had the audacity to beat them. Well, that was stupid. Though we were a bit vocal taking the Michael out of them. Of course, you've got to enjoy it, haven't you? So are the Tavern team going to Cardiff this year? Extra value this with the SGP2 on Sunday lunchtime included in the ticket price.
So what is the SGP2?
it's the under-21s
Oh, right, okay.
World Championship. That's on the Sunday. Obviously, the main one is going to be on the Saturday. All being well, yep, I should be there, so I'm looking forward to it. Not, of course, been able to go to Cardiff for the last couple of years due to COVID, but
I'm possibly going.
Yeah.
It's actually on my birthday, so
be a nice birthday.
I'm,
for us.
exactly. I'm possibly going.
Yeah.
You might be able to get in free at your age.
Wow. Apparently, James Shane's been in the wars at Plymouth tonight.
Indeed.
I'll get our man, that is Matt, onto it.
Yeah, fell excluded in his second ride, although he came back and won his third ride, so he's obviously carried on in the meeting.
Bit of a crazy decision by Eurosport last night. All Premier teams riding and no coverage at all. Bellevue Sheffield would have been an ideal big crowd. Nearly 2,000 were there last night, but Eurosport will be at Bellevue Kings Lynn next week, when crowd will be down and Kings Lynn will struggle against us. I can hear the comments now. What a poor crowd who chooses these matches for TV. Again, unbelievable. It does seem strange, some of the choices.
Yeah, it does a bit. Because it doesn't help, I think, that they're not doing a meeting every single week. It's sort of every 2 or 3 weeks, so there's no continuity.
No, not at all. They could at least do a magazine or something, couldn't they?
Yeah.
About it.
Just going back to our crowd disturbances, Peter Clark says, didn't Sam Amalenko have to leave Dudley Wood in the boot of a car once?
I think he had to do quite a few times, to be fair. I think Sam was never particularly popular with the crowd. I think the main reason Sam wasn't popular with the crowd fans was because every time he guested for them, he was rubbish.
Okay. Elliot's doing both, staying over until Monday. Looking forward to 2 different meetings, Grand Prix and under 21 Sunday lunchtime.
You've got to
Michael
go now, haven't you?
Vane said promised to buy me a birthday pint in the Prince of Wales. Well, I've
Need to grab that. Yeah, grab that.
I've got to go, haven't I? Apparently, Chris has just told me that's been unheard of, Ben.
Yeah,
You've
apparently, yeah.
You've never done
it's,
that?
it's a rarity. It's a rarity.
So, yeah, okay.
And we're caught up.
Yep.
Record time, 28 minutes.
Wow. I mean, thank you so much, guys, for
Fantastic, brilliant. Keep them coming, keep them coming, keep them coming.
just taking. Wow, it's past already.
Yeah.
Shall we talk about the plans at Edinburgh?
Yes, please. Yes,
Yeah.
let's do that. It sounds really good. You've got the statement there, I
Yeah,
believe.
West Lothian Community Stadium. Edinburgh Monarch Speedway is pleased to announce plans to construct a new stadium in the heart of West Lothian to open in the spring of 2023. And he's lost it.
He's lost it.
Lost it,
He's
yeah,
lost the stadium. It was
Oh,
there a minute
yeah.
ago.
The West Lothian Community Stadium will host the Monarch Speedway team alongside a range of projects and youth initiatives, creating new opportunities for the local community. An extensive search has identified the ideal location for the stadium, just a stone's throw away from the M8 Junction 3A in Dean's Industrial Estate, Livingston. Development Director Gordon Campbell said West Lothian Community Stadium is a massively exciting development for the Monarchs and for West Lothian. Through an extensive search, we have identified the perfect location for the stadium where the Monarchs will thrive for years to come, while also significantly increasing our ability to deliver benefits to the local community. Following detailed discussions with West Lothian Council, the site has been selected for its ease of access while being in a place that will cause no disturbance to local residents. Plans are in place to construct a 1,500 capacity stadium with uninterrupted viewing of the internationally certified 260 metre speedway track, capable of hosting world events, and a youth training track for the Monarch Speedway Academy. Facilities for the community's activities will be incorporated into multiple use of the stadium.
Fantastic.
Yeah, all sounds.
I'm a bit.
Yeah,
It's fun. Listen, it's fantastic what they've done. I think 2023 might be a little bit optimistic because I don't think they haven't even got planning permission for the place yet. And as far as I'm aware, there are other people that are looking at that site for other things.
Right.
So I think it's great they've done it. I've got a lot of respect for Edinburgh as a club. I think it's a bit of a cliche, but I think that to me they're a proper speedway club. They do a lot of stuff in the community. Very, very friendly fans. Whenever the Edinburgh fans come to Birmingham, you speak to them, they're always very, very friendly.
absolutely.
So yeah, good luck to them. Fingers crossed that it comes off. Of course, I suppose the spectre is there of things like Reading and Swindon, who thought they were going to get tracks, and
well, we still hope Swindon do.
yeah,
Of course.
I mean,
That's
Reading
not-
obviously were sort of assured, it's in the bag, and 14 years later they still haven't come back. So hopefully there'll be none of that. It's going to be. I think it's going to be a big ask to get it ready for 2023, for the spring of 2023. But clearly they've put a lot of things in place to, and they obviously would have known about this quite some time ago. I think Armadale's been sort of earmarked for redevelopment for quite a number of years.
Yeah, it has. Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, there are some things within that statement that make you go, okay, just hold on a minute. But mainly positive, and fingers crossed for them.
it's a lot closer to Edinburgh, I think, than Armadale is. I mean, Armadale's about 26, 27 miles away from Edinburgh,
Right.
so it's quite some way out. So, but fingers crossed that the Monarchs have been saved.
Yes, because we like our butterflies. Jamie Mill says, what's your thoughts on the great efforts from Barry and company on the island? I think it's forward thinking and what the sport needs. We've had Barry on here before, haven't we?
We've had him a couple of times. Yeah.
And
yeah.
I mean,
It's a bit quiet this season, but
he has.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to check out their site. Actually, I haven't looked at it for a couple of months. I mean, we've said on this program many a time that it's
brilliant what they're doing.
It's brilliant what they're doing, and it's also such a shoot yourself in the foot move for Speedway to alienate somebody like that.
Yeah.
So,
crazy.
Craig Smith, FIM certified track apparently. 260 metres seems small. 2023 is a bit optimistic to build a stadium, but I think, but good luck to them. Let's hope they're at the tapes in their new stadium. Be nice if they stepped up to Premiership in their new
Certainly can't
stadium.
see that.
If it's saying spring, I mean, that's like 9 months.
Yeah.
No, I can only see that happening if Glasgow
It went up as well.
went up as well, because they, as you pointed out before.
I would say probably the plan would be for the track to be built first, because they've got to get the track right. There's no point having a fantastic stadium if the track's terrible. So get the track first, and then maybe build up the stadium.
Was
around
that a
it.
little dig at Leicester?
I'm not saying anything. I hadn't even crossed my mind.
Okay.
We did actually talk about this offline, didn't we? Regarding Joe Thurley.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
The Premier promoter who died 14 years ago today. It just seems like yesterday.
When you're your age, it was.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I think you
yeah.
knew Joe well, didn't you? I thought you.
I mean, I met him. He was on the track same time as I was, and I spoke to him a lot, and lots of memories about obviously what went on before and so on. And he just loved his speedway. I mean, he'd been away from it for a while, and then he came back, and he was just loving it.
Yeah.
I'm glad we was able to give that to him. Before he went,
You always got the impression with Joe Thurley that Birmingham would be the only club that he would have come back to Speedway for, because I think that was probably the time in Speedway that he treasured the most. And as you say, I mean, it was a successful period for the club, wasn't it? So
it really was. It really was.
Yeah.
Hey ho. And obviously we mentioned Dave Peace and Dan Bewley as well. Might happen quicker at Edinburgh if they got a bit of local council funding, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice to see and hear about a council that is supporting the right things, shall we say.
Absolutely.
I mean, I know there's been a bit of I haven't read this yet, but there's been a bit of a hoo-ha at the Birmingham Wheels. I don't know the ins and outs of it. but the council apparently, as I say, I haven't read anything yet. Apparently, they're not playing proper cricket in trying to get rid of the place. So, yeah. Good evening from Mr. Ian Porky Jones.
Oh, Porky.
Hello,
Porky's on.
Hey. Oh, right. I've got to be on my best behaviour now.
Have you?
No. Whee. He's in the studio.
You had to go there, didn't you?
Yeah, of course. I hope they don't make the mistakes Bellevue made by only having half the track built when building the stadium, then rushing the final bits of the stadium and track to meet an unrealistic deadline. Take their time and get it right.
Yeah, that was a bit of a PR disaster really for Bellevue, wasn't it? And,
Yeah, it's all come good in the end for them because it is a smashing track. So that I still haven't been to.
You've got to get up there at some point, haven't you? So.
Duncan Pemberton's going all memory now on us. Going to Perry Bar in 75 in the early days. Chalky White, Phil Hearn, Big Arthur. I'm not entirely sure that Phil was riding for us in 75.
74, it was his 74 he was at Birmingham.
I think so. That was his last year.
He went back in
Brian-
78, 79, I think, didn't
Something
he?
like that when we was in the top league, yeah.
Yeah.
Duncan Pemberton, Birmingham Wheels was an awful place to watch Speedway. Got to disagree. The track was a beautifully shaped track. The facilities and they were very basic, but you could see the whole of the track.
Yeah.
You got no problem seeing any of the track. Unfortunately, what killed that was the stock cars.
Yeah.
There was always a hole on bend one, and all our riders knew where it was.
Yeah, but the
other ways didn't, and we'd just go "Ree!" as they went away from the gates, and then our guys went up the inside.
I do remember talking to somebody who went there a few times, and he said he didn't particularly relish climbing up the big steps to get into the stadium.
No.
And again, under threat, isn't it, now at the moment?
Yes, that's what we was just
It doesn't have closed, isn't it? So, but
Yeah.
it's still in a bit of limbo at the moment. They were promised sort of another site, weren't they? But that has all the best laid plans, if you say so.
Personally, I think that would be a better place to have a speedway track. than
And
Perry
Porky
Bar.
Jones says, "Yeah, well, I've got
Yeah.
thoughts on that as well.
I think so.
If it was done properly."
Yeah.
Ian Porky Jones says, "Come on the Wolves." Come on Ipswich is all I've got to say. Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, we've got a big match coming up with Glasgow at the weekend, haven't we? We've got the England v Great Britain v rest of the world
versus the rest of the world. Yeah.
Test match. Let's have a look at the lineups for that meeting. Of course, for the GP team, subject to fitness, of course, you've got Dan Bewley at 1, Charles Wright at 2, Craig Cook 3, Carl Howarth 4, Tom Brennan 5, Jordan Palin 6, and for the rest of the world, you've got Jason Doyle, Norrick Blowdorn, Max Frick, Luke Becker, Rasmus Jensen, and Dylan Rummel. So, of course, Glasgow did stage a test match at the end of last year, didn't they, against the
I hope
Poles?
it's well supported.
Yeah, I mean, they seem to have publicised it very well. Interesting to see what the crowd's going to be, because I think it's certainly going to be a meeting where there's going to be a chance to see some, certainly, an ex-world champion in Jason Doyle. Quite a few of the riders obviously will have already ridden Glasgow before anyway, so they'll know the place, they'll know the way around the place. And I just hope it's well supported. And Glasgow have done this a few times, haven't they? I think they staged a test match against the Aussies about 2-3 years ago. I think 2019 it was, and they staged the one against the Poles last year. So hopefully it goes well.
Yeah, I hope it's, as I say, I hope it's supported. Speedway's missing that. I mean, it's a shame that it's always down in Glasgow. I mean, obviously they're doing it, but it'd be nice if we had a few tests around the place. I remember, when we used to have tests, particularly against the Americans, that the amount of passion that it brought.
Oh yeah, without doubt.
I mean, if people don't believe me, get yourselves on YouTube and check it out.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the race format is, because I mean it is 6-man teams, so. I think Dave Tynes said they think tests will be 18 heats. I don't think it'll be 18 heats, because 18 heats obviously would be the 8-man teams. So, waiting to see what the format is for that. There's nothing on the Glasgow website anyway. So,
Okay, apparently the broadcast is breaking up.
No, it's not. I've got no drop frames, nothing. It's
Okay.
fine on the outlets.
Check your internet provider.
I think it
Isn't that
might
what
be,
they say?
Yeah, it might be a dodgy link somewhere. It's okay on YouTube. Yeah. It's good.
Okay, I'll start again. Rob Lambert, better out than in, has been called in place of Palin because Palin fell at Bellevue
Yeah.
midweek in a practice session. He was concussed, sadly. Craig Smee, British final coming up. Expect Bewley to be in it. Really hope Lambert and Ty join the field. Ty, after all, loves Bellevue and wanted to ride here this season. Be great if he didn't opt out this season again.
I'm got my doubts as to whether you'll see him in the British final, certainly in the next few years. It's a shame, but
Yeah.
obviously it's his choice. So
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just don't know. I mean, but one thing's for sure: if he did turn up, he'd put bums on
he
seats.
certainly would, yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's a guarantee now that he would win it either. So
No, I mean, Rob Lambert obviously would.
yeah,
Have
Dan
a
Bewley
chance.
obviously
Dan Bewley.
knows the place like the back of his hand. So
Yeah. And Danny King likes the place if it's wet,
yeah,
as we know. So yeah, I mean, the British final is starting to becoming
prestigious again.
more prestigious. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
It fell behind for a little bit.
It is a shame that we don't have the British semi-finals anymore, and that you can basically just handpick the 16 riders in it. But hey ho, hopefully one day we'll get to the stage where you can have semi-finals and maybe even quarter-finals in it again. So,
Only in Speedway, eh?
yeah.
Okay, so I'm just looking at the time. I think we've got 5 more minutes before we want to start doing the Nigel Pearson League, or should we get
Okay.
straight on with it and then?
Well, I wanted to have a chat about the summer trophy as well, because
Okay.
that starts
Go,
that
let's
starts
go.
next week. So brand
Yes.
new tournament. So do we want to do the tables first? And
Yeah.
Go on then.
Here we go. Have a quick look at the tables. I'll get it up.
And we're going
Weeks.
to still carry on with this league. We're going to continue
Yeah.
using all the matches, basically knockout cups, summer trophy.
It's getting really tough at the top. I tell you, look how close it is.
Wow.
You've got Simon Corbett on 125, Steve Morgan on 124, Andrew on 122, Ben on 120, and then you've got Matt on 118. There's a few people there on 117, including me.
yeah,
And I seem to be super glued
Oh, you're down the bottom.
to
somewhere.
17.
Yeah.
I had a good week though.
yeah. Apart from
good week.
yesterday.
That's no good if everybody
Apart
else
from-
has a
yeah.
good week. So.
Well, in fact, I had the same results as Simon Corbett looking at it at number 1. Go figure.
You're trying to gloss over it, aren't you?
Yeah.
Really trying to
I
gloss
really
over
am.
it.
I really am. Right. Brian Buck says Birmingham Wheels was much maligned for its poor facilities. We went there too early in its development, and it was a mistake to try and share the track with the stock cars. But in time, it could have been the lifeline we needed at the time. Yeah. It's a perfect place to put a speedway track because there's just not much around it.
Yeah, it's just not the most salubrious part of the city, admittedly, but can't really do anything about that.
Is
unfortunately.
Perry Bar?
Well, you could argue Perry Bar's obviously having a lot done to it at the moment because of the Commonwealth Games. But,
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that another time, possibly. Okay, so you wanted to talk about this summer trophy.
yep, brand new tournament, of course. Obviously, as you've said many times, probably Birmingham's last chance of winning a trophy in 2022. So you've got 3 groups. You've got the Scottish group, Northern group, and the Southern group. It's the same point scoring in meetings as you had for in the league. 1 point for home draw, home win by any points, 3 away loss by 7. Of course, the winner, it's a playoff. Winner of each group to a 3-team final held at a neutral track, Sheffield on a Sunday, over a 6-rider 18-heat format.
I mean, that sounds great.
I'm looking forward to seeing how this
The
goes, to be
neutral.
honest.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got the 3 groups there, so you've got the Scottish group, you've got Berwick, Edinburgh and Glasgow, surprisingly. Northern section, you've got Leicester, Redcar and Scunthorpe, and the Southern section, you've got Birmingham, Oxford, Plymouth and Poole, so that's going to be a tough group for the Brummies to get out of.
Yes. But hope springs
Yeah,
eternal.
but of course, it starts next Tuesday. Next Tuesday, of course, will be the first match, and it will be Plymouth against the Brummies, which, of course, we'll be following, I'm sure, on next week's show.
Yep. Yes, we will. And I'll be probably crying in my beer.
Yep.
Ian Porky Jones says trying to get to Perry Bar while the games are on will be a nightmare. I'm not entirely sure that they're actually going to be a match on during the actual games. I don't
I
think.
don't know whether there's going to be any
don't-
fixtures
there is-
to slot in during the time, is there?
I don't know, but I think the plan at the moment is that there isn't going to be any matches on.
I suppose there's an argument. Would it be beneficial to have a match on while the games are on? Because you've got a possibility of getting some people who've obviously been watching the Commonwealth Games who might think, oh, I'll go and have a look at that, see what that's all about.
I did, well, yeah. And I think we should be outside the Commonwealth Games with flyers and the like.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
I
it's a good idea.
Yeah,
Good idea.
You're trying to do the job for Lawrence to do, are you?
I am, yeah.
Yeah, he gets very easily bored, Lauren.
Well, he does.
Obviously, he doesn't do much anyway.
He's working tonight, putting the sheets and tyres down. Bless him.
Right, should we get on with the fixtures then?
You
Yes,
need
let's
to,
do that.
quickly.
I'd just like to say about the trophy. I think it's a great idea.
Yep.
Particularly think it's a great idea that having it on a neutral track and 3-team as well. It's going to be what we've always mentioned about having Speedway's day
He
out.
needs a day out, yeah.
Yeah, for the
Does.
championship, yeah, definitely.
So,
Definitely.
anyway, yeah, let's go then. Shall we start? For those of you that are new to the channel, we do this every week. It's called the Nigel Pearson Prediction League because we're really unoriginal.
Yeah.
And we go through all the meetings that are coming up and we predict them. We get you to put your predictions on, and Matt works very, very hard at producing
He does.
the league table. And at the end of it, the winner gets.
A mug
So you then.
and a t-shirt.
And a t-shirt. In fact, a
And
t-shirt
the
in a mug.
prestige of being the champion.
And the prestige of being
Yeah.
Yeah,
the first Nigel Pearson
Yeah.
Predictions League winner. There you go. Right, so I do believe, is it my turn to start this week?
yeah, because it was Matt's last week, wasn't it?
Oh, well, then it's your
Oh,
turn
it's
to
my
start.
turn then.
Yeah,
Oh, right,
yeah.
okay. So is that the first one? Birmingham
Against Glasgow.
Birmingham versus
Right.
Glasgow.
I'm sorry. I'll tell you I'm sorry before I predict. I'll go Glasgow by 10.
Glasgow by 10.
Is that yours as well?
No.
No, first answers,
Yeah.
in only.
I'm going to say Birmingham by 4.
Oh,
And then you woke up.
Yeah, I've gone Glasgow by 10 as well on that one. I think it'll be a close match
Yeah.
though. I think Birmingham will run Glasgow close,
Well,
but
10's not close.
well, it's reasonably close.
It's good for them.
It's not close enough.
Yeah.
Good for
Okay,
them.
next up.
Dylan Spuddy Hodgetts, Glasgow by 22. Wow.
I think someone's desperate for points here, aren't they? So,
Oxford Cheetahs versus the Plymouth Gladiators,
Yep.
and that's down to me. I'm surprised at Oxford. They haven't done anywhere near as well as I was
well, of course they
expecting.
did make it. They have made a change, haven't they? Because they brought Paul Stark in, had a nightmare debut against Leicester last week. So
Yeah. I'm going to say an Oxford win by 4.
yeah, I've gone for Plymouth to win by 10.
Interesting.
I'll get Oxford to win by 10.
Okay. Most people are going with Oxford. So far, anyway. The Premiership pairs is the next one, which obviously we're not
we don't
doing.
do that.
Edinburgh Monarchs versus the Poole Pirates.
That'll be a good meeting.
Yeah, that's up to you.
I've gone Edinburgh by 2 on that one.
Interesting.
I'll go Edinburgh by 6.
Talking about being desperate for points, I'm going to draw. One of these days, I'm going to get one of these draws.
Yep.
You never know. Okay, next is Redcar versus Berwick. That's up to you, Chris.
I'll go Redcar by 4.
I'm going to say Redcar by 10.
I've gone Redcar by 16.
After Redcar versus, I can't find it now yet.
GPV, the rest of the world.
Shall we have?
This is going to be a difficult one because obviously I can't find the format for the meeting. So
That's a lucky dip, isn't it?
do we just say whoever by 10 or whatever, and then just
Win or lose?
yeah,
A win for?
or do we just skip the meeting? Or
Have a bonus.
Do you know
point.
what I'm
Let's have
thinking
a
of?
bonus point round. We entered it for ages.
I'm thinking of tiebreaker time.
right?
What do you think if we get a tiebreaker? If we keep hold of this result?
Yeah, could do. Yeah,
Okay.
Okay, so
go on. You can explain it. It was your idea.
Great Britain versus
Rest of the world.
rest of the world. This isn't going to count towards the league table, but if there is a draw at the end of the year, which is looking quite likely at the moment, the answer to this will be the tiebreaker.
Yep.
If you don't answer it, and the other person has answered it,
Tough.
tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna. Are we just going to say win, lose, or draw?
Yeah.
Okay.
What? No, we can't do that.
Just go by the score.
Yep. So just go by how many points,
Yeah.
win or lose. Okay. So I'm going to say Great Britain by 6. Up to you, Matt.
I've gone rest of the world by 8.
Okay.
I'll go Great Britain by 10.
Interesting.
So I'd like to see a bit of patriotism. Often they use gone against.
Oh, Britannia. Britannia rules it.
Well, okay.
Okay, next up.
Moving on, Leicester Lion Cubs versus the Oxford Chargers, so the National League. I'm going to say Leicester by 16.
I've gone Leicester by 26 on that one.
I'll go Leicester by 20.
Okay.
Yep. Berwick against Poole is next.
Yep, and that's down to Chris.
I'll go. Oh. Tell you what, I'll go Poole by 4.
I'm going to say Poole by 8.
I've gone Poole by 12 on that one.
Okay. Kent Royals versus Berwick Bullets.
Berwick obviously top of the National League at the moment, aren't they? So
And that's up to me. But Kent's tough at home.
yeah.
I'm going to say Kent by 4.
I've gone Berwick by 2.
I'll go Kent by 6.
Dylan Spuddy Hodgett says, "Oh Jesus, I've got the same as Mike."
What a disease.
Wow. Bellevue versus Kings Lynn, and this is down to you, Matt.
I've gone Bellevue by 14 on this one.
I'll go Bellevue by 10.
Bellevue by 18. Peterborough Panthers versus the Wolves. Looking much better lately, aren't they, Peterborough?
They are, yeah, off the bottom of the league now. So after their win, last gasp win against Kingston last night. So
Down to you, Chris.
I still think I'll go for Wolverhampton by 4.
Don't think Wolves know how to ride that track, do they?
we did win there last time.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm still going to say Peterborough by 4.
I've gone Wolves by 4 as well.
Yeah, okay.
Taking 11 me senses thinking we're going to win at Peterborough twice in the year.
Quite. Plymouth Gladiators versus us. This is what we was alluding
Yeah, the
to.
summer trophy.
And would fall to me, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Plymouth by 4.
It's confidence.
He said that like he meant it as well, didn't he?
It's up to
I've gone Plymouth by 20 on that one.
yeah.
It's,
I'll go Plymouth by 16.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I sometimes have to let my heart rule my head, and I still predicted a loss.
yeah.
I'm not sure if there's another one after that, Matt. Is there another one?
No, that's it.
Is that it?
That is it, yeah.
Ah, good stuff, good stuff. Right.
Jim Turrell, wouldn't it be interesting if all clubs published council restrictions on meetings like curfew times and noise restrictions like no air horns like at Ipswich? I think everybody's pretty much knows what the restrictions are at each club, don't they?
I think so, yeah.
I mean, we know what we are at Birmingham. We don't have air horns. We have to be finished by 10 o'clock.
Yeah. But they have been quite good at getting the meetings rushed through at Birmingham this year, I think. So.
Yeah, they have.
What are people's views on how air horns? We used to have lots of conversations about air horns.
Yeah, I never used to like them
days.
anyway. Even I never liked them, but it does make an for an atmosphere.
It does, yeah, but you don't want to be sitting next to somebody who's
No,
not
exactly. Yeah, exactly right.
Well, maybe they've stuck them all in one area.
Shame
Well,
the-
they do that at Cardiff, don't they? They have designated air horn zones. So.
Okay.
Shame that Great Britain, rest of the world is not being streamed. Pretty sure quite a few would have paid. Interesting to see Sheffield Council can't seem to find any proof of the curfew at Sheffield, and then it stops. The curfew at Sheffield last week was strange. There's nothing around the stadium other than industrial units and casino. Who are they disturbing?
Does seem a bit of a strange one, doesn't it? I know there's houses up further up the road from the stadium.
Yes, there is,
but,
yeah.
I don't think they're not as if they're right on the doorstep of the track. So
Interesting. But it is what it is. It's what we live under for being a noisy sport, I suppose.
yeah,
No, well, I won't be able to do it when all the electric bikes come in.
And you still think that will happen?
I think it will inevitably happen. It'll happen in Formula One. It'll happen in everything.
yeah, it will do.
I'm just wondering, like, when you say
I think it's
Formula One,
almost got to. So
surely you can have different types of way of riding, and or am I getting it wrong?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's
I
gonna
mean,
be
we'll find out.
interesting, that is,
What will be interesting is that the riders will be able to talk to each other on the track as they go.
Yeah.
Right, you go to the right, you go to the left, and you'll be able to hear all.
Go
all
for the
you know.
points after, yeah.
Have to mark him up, won't they, so we can hear?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
So it does open possibilities. Craig Smith says no to electric bikes. Yeah, I just think it's going to happen.
I think it's going to have to. At some
It
point,
will
isn't
have
it? So,
to.
yeah.
I think it'll.
Admittedly,
Combustion engines will be
Yeah.
regulated out.
although admittedly, I don't think speedway bikes are polluting, are they? Certainly not what you would get from a car or anything.
No, well, I think the only. I'm sure somebody once told me that the only byproduct of burning methanol is water.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, regarding the
You could argue.
methanol, I suppose they could actually pump that into the ground somewhere, couldn't they? The smell, because people would miss the smell, wouldn't they?
people are missing the smell already because
Yeah.
it's not the methanol that was causing it. It was the
right.
Castrol GTX.
Yeah.
They don't use it anymore.
You could argue that's where speedway misses a trick, in a sense, and the fact that saying it's the only thing that burns in a speedway bike is water. So
Apparently, Peter Clark says they're already testing junior e-bikes in Swindon. And do you know what? I've said this time and time again. It would be perfect in a place like Birmingham where noise is a problem for us to have a little track on the inside where people can have a go on electric bikes.
Yeah.
My kids
Yeah.
could have a go on electric bikes and they would be able to do it at times when we're not allowed to do speedway, but
Yeah.
because there would be no noise, and it wouldn't disturb the dogs because there's no noise. So,
Sure.
I tell you what, they're going to be fast out the gate. Electric bikes.
Oh, they have,
yeah, they will be fast out the gate.
yeah,
Duncan Pemberton says
might be able to gate on them. So.
Says you can stick a big stick in the e-bike wheel like we did with lollipop sticks for noise.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Right, well, that music means Chris has got to get home.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
we will, oh yeah, and we will see you all next week. Good luck, everybody, and hopefully see loads of you down Perry Bar tomorrow. Good luck.
Bye.